Good morning. Hello. It's me, Reed.
I'm Jennifer. We're here for another Faith at Home Psalm listening practice.
Right. We'll be reading Psalm 3 from the Message again. It's the fourth week of Easter.
Fourth week in the season of Easter.
Right. If you're keeping track, and if you're not, well, now you have to, I guess. Yes.
You don't have to. So as we enter into this listening practice today, you're invited to pay attention for a word or phrase or an image or an idea that stands out to you. And as you listen, that's a way for us to pay attention to the way that the divine family might be speaking to us in the midst of our everyday lives.
Right. So, shall we begin?
Let us begin.
All right. The Message, Psalm 3. God, look, enemies past counting, enemies sprouting like mushrooms, mobs of them all around me, roaring their mockery. Ha! No help for him from God. But you, God, shield me on all sides. You ground my feet, you lift my head high. With all my might I shout up to God. God answers thunder from the holy mountain. I stretch myself out. I sleep. Then I'm up again, rested, tall and steady, fearless before the enemy mobs coming at me from all sides. Up, God! My God, help me! Slap their faces. First this cheek, then the other, your fist hard in their teeth. Real help comes from God. Your blessing clothes your people.
So is there something that stands out for you?
I sleep. It stuck out to me. This idea of relaxed and even in the midst of turmoil. I mean, it's kind of a violent psalm later, but at that point it's this danger and then sleep, I guess.
But even in the midst of danger, you can rest and relax.
Yeah.
It was from that same part of the psalm that the first thing that stuck out to me was that I'm fearless before enemy mobs. Now, I don't feel like I actually have real hordes of enemies against me, but I'm aware that I feel vulnerable and need to be courageous in the midst of some circumstances this week. And that, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't use the word fearless, but brave or courageous in the midst of that is there. And that I can ask God to help me. Now, I'm not sure that I want to ask God to slap the faces and smack out the teeth of the people or the situations that I'm in. That doesn't resonate with me. I mean, there are parts of me that resonates with far too much, and I'm uncomfortable with that in myself. And so I'm just aware of that in the psalm today too.
All right. Hope you saw or heard something for yourself. We'll read it again, but this time it's listen to the psalm, but listen for an invitation, something that will draw you, that God's calling you to maybe, or inviting you to, as I read it. God, look, enemies past counting, enemies sprouting like mushrooms, mobs of them all round me, roaring their mockery. Ha! No help for him from God. But you, God, shield me on all sides. You ground my feet. You lift my head high. With all my might I shout up to God. God answers thunder from the holy mountain. I stretch myself out. I sleep. Then I'm up again, rested, tall and steady, fearless before the enemy mobs, coming at me from all sides. Up, God! My God, help me! Slap their faces, first this cheek, then the other, your fist hard in their teeth. Real help comes from God. Your blessing clothes your people. Are you invited to anything?
It sort of is kind of funny, I think. That what stands out to me is the image of those mushrooms. And so the enemy is sprouting up like mushrooms is the phrase that's in the psalm, but the invitation that I hear from the divine family today is to sprout up like a mushroom. So there's that joke that says, I'm covered in poop and in the dark all the time. And and yet mushrooms grow in that and thrive in that. And so in the circumstances of this week, where sometimes I feel like things are dark and not comfortable, I can accept the Spirit's invitation to be like a mushroom sprouting up. That's what I hear in that psalm today.
Okay, yeah. For me, it was that very violent section about, knock out their teeth, and which, like you, I don't find it resonates. I don't think I have enemies. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just clueless. But I don't always get along with people. But the idea that having enemies doesn't always resonate. But the idea that I can get help. I guess the invitation for me is God is ready to help. And so the invitation is then, pardon me, to look for help from God. It's maybe sometimes my feeling is to slap someone's face or knock their teeth out because I'm frustrated. But real help comes from God. I don't know if the psalmist was trying to say that God should come down and actually physically damage his enemies. Maybe he was. If it was David, he had a lot of physical enemies like that. But for me, it's like having God, to look to God for that help that I need in those daily struggles, especially those times when I feel like, man, I really would like to knock someone's block off. I'm so frustrated and angry. And but real help comes from God. That God will come and help me with those things, and I don't have to feel like I'm trapped, I guess. That I should look to God for and expect help from God, and God is inviting me to look to him for that.
Well, I wonder if there were words or phrases or images that stood out for you, or invitations that were part of this time for you. We'd love to hear about that. That's an important part of listening together for the voice of the divine in our everyday lives, is engaging in dialogue in some way, to check those things out and see how they align with what we know to be true about the divine family and their love for us. So thanks for being with us today. Thanks for giving us this space to engage in prayer together.
Indeed.